Okay. Alright. Let me sort this thing out a little bit here. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. We got about a minute delay going on here, so already. So let's let's get this thing started. What are we going to be talking about tonight? We were talking about St. Petersburg, Russia. Also, while I'm going through this, I'm not going to be able to see chat clearly. I'm not going to be able to see chat. I'll be able to flip back over every now and again to chat, but I can't see it clearly. So keep that in mind. I can't see chat clearly. So what about St. Petersburg? St. Petersburg is a very strange place. It's kind of a big old question mark in history. And let me share the screen here. Okay. Let me go to here and look up some images of St. Petersburg. And we'll scroll down through them a little bit. And I would just want to start off by saying one thing that we do know about St. Petersburg is about 20 feet of it was under mud. It was under mud. And we know this from a lot of the buildings that are still there, like this one. This is one of the big palaces. You can see the window arches down on the bottom. Can y'all see my mouse or no? I don't know if y'all can see my mouse or not. Maybe not, but if you look behind the stroller you see there and down along the bottom row of the building, those little half window arches, those are the same cornices that are or the same I want to say a valance window. If you look at the windows above, you'll see it's the same windows, and we'll find this. It's not a style of architecture. It's where it got flooded out. They didn't dig it out. They just built right back on top of it. And we can find these examples all over the place in St. Petersburg. So I'll just flip through a couple of pictures so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I have not been to this page yet, so they're showing mostly all the same damn pictures of the same thing. I'm looking for shit that's not the popular tourist attractions where they've kind of hidden it a little. Nah. And it's not, it's not hard to believe or even understand how something's underwater now that wasn't, or was underwater at one time that's not underwater now, or that was under mud or whatever. This is a good example right here. That building was definitely mudded up. This is another one right here. There's a good example right here. Nobody would have made little fucking short doors and stuff like that. What are they, midgets' houses or whatever? Alright, so I could find you some better examples. That's not really what I want to show you tonight. I just wanted to kind of say, hey, is everybody aware of that? I'm sure you are aware of that. I'm sure you are aware of that. Here, we'll do this right here. find some old pictures. Okay. There's some older places in Russia. St. Petersburg, Russia. Okay. It's a good example right here. See how, and that's the second floor that's covered up. Down at the bottom of that picture, that's the second floor. See if this one's any better. See that? See, nobody would have made a little dip to go down into the house. They would have had a stairwell going up into the house. They would have had a porch. So this area right here was totally mudded in. And you can tell this anywhere you look. East coast of the United States, you'll find this same evidence. And they'll tell you it was an architectural style or something like that when you know damn well it wasn't. Nobody builds shit like that. Nobody builds something stupid like that on purpose. So, anyway, I can find some more. Just hang on. Yeah, here's a good example right here. It's old church. Right there on the corner. There's one where they actually built new access up to the third floor. You'll see that kind of thing a lot. Weird stairwells that seemingly you just go, why would they put a fucking, that's stupid. Why would they do that? Why would they build that like that? And they wouldn't. They just kind of fell in there and started inhabiting the place. So then you got all the artwork in St. Petersburg, all the statues, and this is where most people run into some issues, because these statues of St. Peter and Alexander and all these other people, they seem to be meshed. They seem to be meshed and mixed in with a lot of Roman shit. That oh my God, where's my mouse at? My battery's going dead on this mouse. A lot of these statues don't even look right for what they say that they are. I'll get deeper into these. I'm just going to kind of cover a little bit on what we're going to talk about. But just different stolen histories. Okay. Or the stolen history. Tonight I'm just going to show you how St. Petersburg was not St. Petersburg, and how it was somewhere else before it was St. Petersburg, and how all the architecture got just taken over and then claimed to be not that. So we could just look back at the original. This is what they want you to believe. So we can't take them out of their position. We're back on Wikipedia. This is a Wikipedia on St. Petersburg and who founded it and when they founded it. St. Petersburg was founded in 1703 by King Peter, Peter the Great, I guess. And he had toured all over Europe, and he had come to this land, this foreign land, and all that, and went to building the damn town. It was nothing but a bunch of weirdos there. Now he did say, of course, that that when he got there, that there was these people called the Nyenskans, who had a fortress at the mouth of the Neva River. And they said that they built that fortress in 1611. Now, the full Finnic history of the tribe that inhabited that place said that that was built a long time before that. But let's just take Peter on his word that he showed up and that there was some people called some Nyenskins, and they had a fortress on the mouth of the Neva River, and that was supposedly built in 1611. Okay. Now, in 1703, in the Great Northern War, Peter the Great captured the Nyenskins and soon replaced the fortress closer to the estuary on Zachary Island and laid down the Peter and Paul Fortress. Okay? Just now said that in 1703 that they say that Peter the Great captured the Nyenskins fortress and replaced it. But he moved it closer to the estuary, 5 kilometers or 3 miles inland from the Gulf. Okay? Now, let's just take a look at the wiki on the Nyenskins. Okay? Now, there was a painting made of their fortress, which was a star fort. And it had a lovely little town behind it. And see, even back then, they were stupid enough to even say this was a fort. Now, it might have been a defensive position of some type, but it wasn't for the people, because if it was the people that lived back in the back there on that hillside, if the enemy was coming, they'd have a hard time getting their asses across one bridge and then across another bridge over here. The other bridge is over to the right that goes out to this place. This place is like on a little island. But this is the original. This is one of the painting from the Nyenskins. This is what their fort looked like. This is what the town looked like behind it. Okay? Y'all get that? Y'all understand that? Now, if you look up the Peter and Paul Fortress, it'll tell you in different terms that in 1706 to 1740, it was a star fortress, but it was moved. Remember what they said, 3 miles away from its original place. Well, we know that this painting here is the original, is what it looked like before in 1611. It's what it looked like. And then this is a picture of it today that was supposedly 3 miles away. You can even go to Google Maps and look at it. Well, the stupid map is hardly responding here. Well, I guess it's not going to let me do that. Now, I want you to look at this. And I want you to look at this. Now, according to everyone, the Nyen fortress sat at the mouth of the Neva River in 1611, and according to this picture, it sat at the mouth. The mouth is to the left of the river. And if you look at this left spot to the left of it is at the mouth of the Neva River. It was never moved. It was never anywhere else except right there. But they'll tell you that Peter built that thing right there. They'll tell you that St. Peter built that fucking thing right there when that thing was already there when he got there. Look at the original 1611 picture again. Look at the Google Maps. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a model of a paint. This is a model based on a painting in the museum in St. Petersburg. I'm sorry. This is a model. A model of a based on a painting that is in a museum. And there the painting is next to the model. But they'll tell you that Peter the Great built this. In 1706, after they done told you that that's what it looked like in 1611, supposedly 3 miles away. Let me move this thing around so y'all can see it here. These are some columns in St. Petersburg.
Megaliths of.
Oop, let me turn that sound down. These are some columns in St. Petersburg, and the funny thing is they look just like the columns at another place in Baalbek. The exact same columns. Exactly the same columns. That's modern concrete and shit like that. That's modern concrete after 20 or 30 years. Okay, this is a painting of a house in St. Petersburg with the, you see the 4 statues out front? You'll find that in Rome as well, and they're the exact duplicates. They are scale models that Peter, I guess, inspired. This is poured polygonal masonry. Okay, this is the columns at Baalbek and the columns at St. Petersburg side by side. You can even look at the fancy cornices up top. They're almost identical. Almost identical. So if you want to know what Baalbek looked like before it got fucking destroyed, look at St. Petersburg, because that's what Baalbek looked like. The column on the left sat underwater or was in fire. Column on the right really didn't suffer any damage. Look at the framing. It sits on top of the column. You'll see so many. I mean, it's like the same guy. The same guy fucking built this shit. Same guy built this shit. Same people. This is some of the infrastructure at their deep sea port. There's so much old stuff there in St. Petersburg, it's not even funny. And there's some all over the place, and out in the fields, everywhere. It's everywhere. How about this gun turret here? That's insane. And they'll tell people that all that shit was cut. It was cut. It was banged out with a hammer and a chisel by people that look like that right there. Actually, the next generation. All right. Now, here in St. Petersburg, we can find a lot of places in St. Petersburg where repairs to the polygonal masonry, where, you know, it could have been war, it could have been upheaval, or it could have been whatever. But at the same time that Peter the Great was there in 1706, they documented repairs of other things. And this is one of those things that they documented the repair of at the same time that they were supposedly building everything. And lo and behold, we find that they can't even repair their own shit correctly at the same time they're building all the other shit around it. And this is another bunch of crazy questions that always pops up when you're talking about St. Petersburg. The historical record through paintings and other things don't line up with old Peter's story. Why, Peter didn't even speak the Russian language. Yeah, he lost his language when he toured all around Europe. That's what he said. That's why he couldn't speak the Russian language when he came back home. It's because he had lost the language. It just had disappeared from his head. And you'll find the same kind of polygonal masonry in Peru. A lot of other places. So you can clearly see that's poured. St. Petersburg, it's a big ass city. It's a lot of old stuff there. It's a lot of stuff to hide. It's a lot of stuff you gotta rebuild and remake and rename and all that stuff. There's a lot of history you gotta hide. But it was so beautiful they couldn't stand to tear the stuff down, so they had to just kind of rebrand it and make it theirs. No sense in building all this stuff again. So we're just going to tell the world that we built this shit. Now, this statue right here, they're very proud of this statue. This statue right here. Okay. This statue right here. And you can see when you get up close to the statue, it looks like his head was replaced, and it looks like his legs are fucking long like this. Sitting during the look at the buildings behind this thing. They're saying that the guy they're depicting on this fucking horse right here is the same guy who is building all these buildings around that you see. Yet he's riding a horse that doesn't even have fucking stirrups in it. He's riding a horse in the winter. This is a cold ass place. This dude is wearing fucking sandals. The damn uniforms that these people was wearing in the military didn't look anything like this. What on earth is this guy who says he's Peter on this horse? Where the hell is he from? Because this ain't nobody. This ain't no Russian sitting on no fucking horse. In fact, we know this because there's plenty of Roman coinage that shows what this statue is. And it is a figure in history who was a great guy, but it was well before fucking Peter the Great. A long time before Peter the Great. And this is coinage from this area that has been dug up. It's isn't coins from other places. It's coins from around this area that were dug up that predate Peter. So Peter, why didn't you just pose for your own statue? That's my question. Oh, that's right, because you couldn't make your own statue. Isn't that hilarious? What's he giving? A half Nazi salute? What the fuck is that? Nobody? Look at this foot. That look like a riding boot to you? Look like a military riding boot to you? He riding around 30-degree weather with boots look like that? They ain't boots, that's a sandal. He's wearing knickers. Here's a early painting that was found from this area, and it showed this same thing right here. Looks like a Roman guy, doesn't it? They said this was Alexander. They said this was Alexander. This statue is Alexander. Look, it's on top of one of them shiny geopolymer columns. But this statue, they also, it's the statue of Mars. And they said that they found this statue of Alexander in a field that they actually call Mars Field. And you can see how they modified the statue a little bit. That's the original drawing of the Mars statue in the somewhere else, from somewhere else. Another big problem is the obelisk. Tallest one in the world. Now, a lot of people will tell you, you know what, I think that this has something to do with free energy and stuff like that. And I guess if you looked at this and said, okay, well, if all the people are the inhabitants of this place that lives around here at this time, if they all live like in this damn circle, you know, that could make sense. Like they're on that ring of power. Okay, like they can power shit within that ring right there around that thing. Okay, I can go for that. But let's just talk about the history of this damn thing. So Peter said he built this shit. And look at some, just look at some of these fucking columns. All right, look at the bottom of this column. Okay, just to give you an idea how big that obelisk is. That obelisk is 4 times bigger than this column at the base and the height. Just to give you an idea, when you're looking at this thing right here, just to give you an idea, it is 4 times bigger than that. There's some generic evidence that's brought forward. It looks really modern artwork here showing how they raised the column. And then later on, somebody finds another picture that shows. Let's see. Let me get to it. Oh crap! I went too far. Maybe I didn't go too far. See, they're saying all that rope right there. Well, some lady did she did the guesswork, because they said that the fucking column weighed like 400,000 tons, and she figured up that the rope to be used in the configuration as in that drawing, the rope would have had to have been 32 centimeters wide. 32 centimeters wide. You can't manage a rope that's 32. And does that rope look 30? Now this right here is an older painting from that time period that clearly shows the obelisk area differently. In fact, it's a different structure down at the bottom, and it looks like they're tearing it down. It looks like they're tearing it down and rebuilding it. And again, people don't know that there's a lot of fucking Egyptian-looking monuments and stuff. Well, at that time, Peter the Great, man, they don't know nothing about no damn Egyptians. But look at all this Roman architecture. This Romanesque, I should say. But what it is, it's not Romanesque architecture. It's Tartarian architecture. These were the people that were there first. They just call it Roman shit. It's like everything's invented in Canada. So all history that they can account for anything else is Roman. Look how they put another piece of fucking metal on top of the original thing right there. I mean, they have some of the most beautiful artwork there that you've ever seen in your life. Now, this is the grave of the guy who supposedly designed half the damn buildings. His name was, it's Monotro or something like that. Let's just call him Mortimer. I can remember Mortimer. Let's just say this is Mortimer's grave. And Mortimer, he designed all the big fucking palaces and everything that you see. That's his grave right there. That's the guy that designed all these fucking palaces and shit all over the place. Now, he didn't leave behind any plans, any nothing. I mean, it was like nobody knows who the fuck. He didn't have no family or nothing, but he just going on what Peter said that he wanted. This dude won off all these palaces one by one using monkey labor. And we're talking about everything, the statues, the buildings, just everything. I mean, and all he knew was what Peter was telling him he wanted. He was going on what Peter said that he had seen in other countries. And they they rounded up some damn farmers and they built the shit out of this place. Like, here's an old painting from around, the old picture from around there showing this guy. This is during 1709 is when this is from, showing this guy there like sticking a pole down in a damn rock. Like, this is how we fucking cut this rock, and this is how we split this rock. What they would have had. This is in the same time period. This is how we moved this rock right here. This is how we moved this shit. This is how it was being described later on. You know, this is how we did this shit. And this is how we did it. Look at the houses that's back there. Do they look like megalithic structures needing, you know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. The dude's moving a big block, but that's not. There you go. I bought some more stuff. That's a painting of what the obelisk actually did look like before he fucked with it. That's what they said. Weird. Okay, there's that island right there where the starport's on. Here's a painting. This is a pretty interesting painting right here. And it's showing St. Petersburg, and look at all the debris. Look at all the debris with the Roman kind of with the Roman stuff, and look, check it out. I guess that was like construction debris for when they were building it. Look, all over the world, they dig things up, man, especially in St. Petersburg. All you got to do is dig a hole in the ground in St. Petersburg, and you're going to find something that fucking goes back about 50,000 years or 100,000 years. This is where you are from right here. This is where the survivors started out all over again. Only to be taken over and their history completely dissolved and rewritten, transformed. You don't know nothing about them, with somebody else standing there saying what they done did. This is showing you this column is actually hollow. It's a poured column. All of them are poured. They're poured in sections, working their way up in 2-foot sections. That's why they got that goofy looking wobble to them, because they worked in 2-foot sections or 5-foot sections. However, you can see the lines in them, and that's the distance that they would work in when they were working that shit. Like, it's as tall as a man can stand, you know, sitting there with a trowel, putting that shit on. What was the structure behind it? Could have been, it might be fucking, it might be trees. It might be trees all bound together. I would say it's probably like trees all bound together. I can show you some other pictures that would kind of give you an idea. Oop. There you go. Okay, so that's how you make that column, and you just veneer it like you would with plaster, but with a geopolymer concrete that'll stick real good to it and won't never bust apart and will resist all the damn elements forever, pretty much. That's how you do that. But how do you do all this other crap? There is more fucking artwork in St. Petersburg palaces hanging out, one off, just craziest shit you've ever seen that nobody knows who did it. Do you think if you chipped away at this statue right here and you could do this with a fucking, let's just say, you're Joe Craftsman, and you can take a piece of marble and a copper chisel and go to it and make something like this? Do you know how many people are going to know your fucking name? Even if you could do some crappy work like this right here, do you know how many people are going to know your name? They will fucking write books about you if you can do this with a copper chisel. They will absolutely write books about you. But they didn't then. It was no big deal. Everybody could do it, even the farmers. You could just basically draw something on a napkin and say, man, I need you guys. This is kind of what I want this ornate looking bullshit above this door to look like right here. And they'd be like, yeah, we can do that. I ain't no problem. It's just like farming a field. Just like farming a field. Can y'all do me some geopolymer jade columns? That's no problem, buddy. We can do it all. We can do granite columns. We can do jade columns. We can even put weep holes in the bottom of our columns just to make sure that they don't mildew and get all nasty on the inside. And that's why we put these holes here. We didn't leave them behind because we didn't know how to fill a fucking hole, you dumbasses that say these are from when they made them. No, these are weep holes. They put them in windows. They put them in columns that you put in front of houses now. If I go buy a column at Lowe's, a wooden column, or if I make a wooden column and I put it in front of a house, it can't be airtight. I got to put a little vent cap in it. That means I got to drill a 1-inch drill bit hole in somewhere in that column and put this little aluminum looking vent looking thing in it. And that's going to keep the inside of it dry. That's what they do here. This is a weep hole. That's all that is a weep hole. W-E-E-P, weep. Look. It's a weep hole. There's more crap. There's more crap laying around St. Petersburg. There's more artwork. Artwork underneath artwork. I'm telling you. You can't fucking... Look, there's more evidence of the flood and shit that I'm talking about. Alright, so they dug up a street one day. They had to do construction there, and they fucking dig it up, and lo and behold, they find a whole bunch of more building underneath. And they're like, where in the fuck did this come from, man? All these houses, start down here, not up there. And this has happened over and over and over and over. And saying is when the flood came in, it just covered everything. It busted out all the windows. It flooded everything out. Totally. And just mud was everywhere. Show you how they'd kind of dug it out this is original pictures from back when they was still digging St. Petersburg out of the fucking mud. Look. You don't build a house halfway into the ground like it's a half a basement or something like that. That's not what you do. This is not how you build anything, especially if you know how to build a house. You're not gonna fucking build it wrong like that. And no, it's not a fucking basement. That's what they uncovered. Look at that right there. What can you fit into them little things underneath? This is where farm animals are normally roaming around here. That's a barn. Why would you build a barn that's only 2 feet tall? It's not a chicken barn. It used to be a livestock barn. They started excavating that and found all kinds of shit. Look at this. This is an actual picture in St. Petersburg when they were still fucking digging out. Look, door to fucking basement nowhere on the front street. No, that's the original front door of the house. Now it's a fucking basement door. Look how they build secondary access to these places. Nobody's going to build a stupid archway that you can't even walk under. Nobody's going to put a window in the damn dirt. All these things were buried in mud. Some places 2 stories high. Some places just 1 story. It's unnecessary to come up with stupid arguments and stupid reasons as to why something is like it is. When we know cataclysms have happened, we know that people have been washed away, and we understand now that it is not too uncommon in history to walk up in on a town that's totally evacuated and everybody's gone and ain't never coming back, and you can just set up shop and start doing business as your country, and you can tell everybody monkeys with lanterns built that shit, and everybody will believe you because you were great. Your name was Peter, and you were great. You were awesome. You were so good and awesome. All right, how long we been going here? Hey, we got snow. We got snow. We got snow. We got some really fucked up snow. We got like 2 or 3 inches of regular fluffy powdered like real fluffy kind of bunny rabbit snow. And then we got another inch of this hard ass ice pellet rain stuff that like coated the snow, and I think that's gonna make the snow stick around for a long time too, because that stuff is not gonna melt very fast. Snow will melt pretty fast, but man, that layer of ice on top of the snow, that's gonna trap it all off. I got Antarctica in my backyard. I got a ice capped snow with stuff underneath that I'm not sure what that stuff is anymore. I forgot. I gotta restart this stream. Y'all are almost 5 minutes behind me. I'm talking. It's almost 5 minutes after I shut off the pictures. But I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna restart the stream. I don't have a choice. It is fucking laggy as hell. I gotta do something different here. This is really laggy. So actually, just don't go anywhere. I'm just going to stop the stream here, and I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, and I'll restart the stream. We'll start a new stream, all right? Good. You don't have to go anywhere. It'll pop right back up here when I start again.